All right, guys, these are your channeled messages for July 23rd through 31st, 2026. But the messages are timeless. Whenever you find them, you're meant to find them. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Let's get it. So the first card out is Family Feud / Family Matters. Family is the source of your current issue. Forgive, but don't forget, clear, cut, and release karmics. The second card out is It's going to be okay, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Things are happening for your highest good. It's going to work out. It's happening for you, not to you, and have faith in the divine. And the last card out is You're not crazy, you know. Trust yourself, trust your intuition, don't question yourself, and don't second guess. It just feels like there's someone in your family that is creating drama or grief, causing problems for the unit, for the family unit, for the family conglomerate. And it feels like it's like because you're I hate to use the overly used example of like being the black being the black sheep, or like being the one that branches out, or being the one that rebels against norms, or being the one that does things differently, right? It's like, I don't know, like trying to have it's like trying to have an intervention for you is what it feels like, of trying to reel you back in, because they don't like where you're headed, or what you're doing, or what you have been doing, or this is like something about what you're doing, and you just it feels like it's going to hurt your feelings, like the and I'm not sure if it's the way that they are going about it, or if it's just what they said and or are saying, either to or about you or whatever the case may be, though. And then it's like you're gonna have to make the choice to be like, well, listen, you can either accept me as I am or like I'm out. And I think it's just the fact that you're having to make that decision in general, like the fact that you're having to be like, well, hey, this is what it is. It's just like almost equivalent to like if like when a child comes out to their parents, right? It's like almost the same kind of energy of the fear that it feels like a lot of my friends have had when they had to tell their parents, or I take it a step further, even when having to tell like your religious family, like, hey, I'm not going to church anymore, or hey, like I don't believe in this anymore. It's like it's like this same kind of energy, the same kind of like heart pounding, heart wrenching, heart racing type of energy where you're having to almost kind of give your family an ultimatum about like whether they're either going to support you or leave you alone because they're being they're being like toxic to you and your life and your family. Or if you have a family, not everybody has a family here, so it could just be general reading. It just being toxic to you, period. But it feels like this is brewing about because of you being different, rebellious, being on your own path, being like a free thinker, doing things the way that you want to do them, forging your your own path and walking your own path and um, doing what makes you happy. It it really feels like it. This is all over the fact that you're no longer under their control and you're no longer doing what they want you to do and you're no longer the person that they wanted you to be. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're like breaking generational chains. And every time somebody that's the generational chain and or curse breaker of their lineage, of their family, of their household, of their whatever the case may be, that person forever has to go through, not forever, but for a good period of time, has to go through just some unnecessary BS with their family at some point, right? Because it's like they spot the change, and then while you're before they spot the change, they try to snuff you out, and then during the change, they try to make it even more difficult for you. And then right before you have fully crossed the threshold of like, hey, I'm here and I've changed, they want to make it difficult for you. And then after you change, they want to just turn it up full fledged, like high heat. They turn it up to the max of just the tomfoolery and effery. This is like maximum tomfoolery and effery, just full out showing their ass, right? Because they're like, oh, so you didn't take heed of my subconscious threats and manipulation tactics and all the other things that I tried to do prior to you getting to this point to try to passively force you back into your cage and force you back into my control and force you back into the beliefs or force you back into submission or whatever the case this is, you know what I mean? But it's giving those examples. Yeah, so when all else fails, and you get to the point to where you're like, nah, I'm good. This is just what I'm gonna do, or this is just me now. This is how I'm gonna live my life. That's when the full the full force of the heathenness comes out. That's when it's full demon mode activated, full evil activated at that point in time. And the claws come out entirely. And it just they show their true form. Remember what that true form looks like, right? Because at some point in time you'll be able to like forgive them and release them, but you should and will never forget what entity lies beneath. They gonna show it to you. They will show themselves. But it is on you to never forget what you saw when it was revealed. Just right, because the mask is finally gonna slip in its entirety. And I think that's the part that's gonna hurt you the most is like kind of just the realization of being like, damn, they got you, huh? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Damn, you really not gonna make it. Like it's the realization of like they kind of effed you. You gave up your soul. You know, you and that sucks because oftentimes whether it's like actual family, you know, like blood family or people who we consider our family, you never want to like you always want to hold out hope that they'll change, that they'll do better, that they'll heal, that they'll grow, that they'll choose to evolve and not just continue to repeat, right? Like that's what we want. We want that for everybody that we care about, that we love, because we don't want them to be left behind in the abyss. We don't want to see them soulless and hollow wandering the earth and the rooms after we are, you know, evolved from this form. But the fact still remains that not everybody chooses this path of ascension, of evolving, of healing, of enlightenment, of ascending the body, right? Of and advancing the mind, you know, of doing the work, of addressing the really deep seated and deep rooted issues and problems within themselves, within their life, within their family. A lot of people purposely run from doing those kinds of tasks, that kind of work, because it is hard, right? You know, this path is not for the weak. It's really not. It is rite of passage and initiation for a reason, because it is difficult. But when you see that, you know, that mass drop and the entities have hold, you know, I would say I've seen it happen before where an entity really had their claws on someone, and I saw the beast in its form, in its true form, right? But um, the situation was able to be extracted and exercised and addressed appropriately, and the person was able to make the choice for themselves, like, hey, you got to do the work here, but it's on you, you know. But it is hard for a person to overcome entity attachment, especially when it's been ingrained in them for their entire life, when it's been a part of them for their entire life. And it's hard for them to acknowledge their wrongdoings, right? It's hard in general for people to just have self-awareness and acceptance and be like, oh shit, oh, you know, I'm sorry for hurting you, or I'm sorry for what I did when X, Y, and Z, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's hard enough for just like non-nefarious ingrained, non-nefarious entity ingrained people to do that. But like you talking about a person that has been indoctrinated with nefarious entities and negative energy from their entire lifetime, like from young childhood. These nefarious entities and energies were introduced to them under the guise of religion or under the guise of something good and pure, right? So let me tell you how this happens, because the curiosity is going to come, no doubt. A lot of times, very powerfully ranked nefarious entities are strategically placed in positions of religious power to seed other nefarious energy and entities into its followers. And so, oftentimes, not all the time, hear me out, oftentimes, not all the time, in any religion, and even more so now in the spiritual community, because they know people are like becoming privy to what's happening, so they're trying to hop in and do the same thing in the spiritual community with these spiritual gurus and these spiritual leaders and all the things. It's the same method of a person with a lot of nefarious entity power being appointed a position of authority and leadership over small masses, small groups of people looking to be led, looking for healing, looking for guidance, looking for, you know, whatever people come to the church looking for, or whatever people come to the pastor looking for, or whatever people come to X, Y, and Z looking for, right? Whatever the salvation that they crave is often somehow, for whatever reason, these gurus and these pastors are given this position of like somehow being more in tune, more favored by the high power. And so people look to them and go to them and entrust them and open themselves up with ease, with readiness and availability to be seated with whatever the person in power is giving. And you talking about from childhood, you're going back and you're receiving these seeds of information, these seeds of entities, of energies. That energy and entity grows with you. And the more and more indoctrinated in those systems, and the more and more indoctrinated in those teachings, and the more and more indoctrinated in that way of life and beliefs, you become detached from what is real and true, what is actually good, holy, and pure, what is actually right. Because what is right for these people is what has been taught by the pastor in that book, whatever religion, whatever the guru has been saying. Like, that's their truth, that's their right, that's their law. But a lot of these authority figures are just nefarious entities who have been strategically placed here to seed other nefarious entities and energies into these people who come seeking. And what we're seeing here is exactly this. It's like you it's like you know prior to getting to this point that like something's not right. Something's up, and but then like once you see like the clear definitive proof after they realize like, oh, we've lost them, time to invoke plan B, right? It just feels like it's gonna hurt you to have to make this the decision to essentially release and cut off these people. But the realiz the realizations, I just feel like I need to keep saying, like, don't forget what you see in these people, because you're gonna have to be able to recognize the same thing, the same type of energies and entities in other people as you go along, right? But I keep saying this because it feels like this is rectifiable, right? Kind of in the example that like I was given, but this is not the same. The example with the person and the people that I'm talking about here, like it didn't have this like deep hold, this like years of indoctrination type situation, but nevertheless, it was still a seated entity. But it just feels like there's going to be a point in time where like is there's they want to come for like forgiveness to be rectified, like they want your forgiveness, they want to like rectify because they like do want to have to be in contact with you, to have a relationship with you, but like you don't forget what you saw. You can forgive them, that's fine, but like if they're still going to be on some harmful bullshit towards you, then like it's a nah. You have to love them people from afar. And that's okay. That's okay. But like this is ultimately you'll have to, yeah. The card that, oh wait, the next card is you're not crazy, and it just feels like because you're gonna see. I keep getting this. It's because you're gonna see, right? It's because you're gonna see the true form. You're gonna be like, what was that? What was that? And it is gonna make you like question yourself of like, did that really that did I see that? Did that happen? And again, like I went through that and I was literally like, but like my whole situation was like a whole year long process, right? And everything that happened within that year was like, is this happening? Did my did that happen? Am I really do is this taking place right now? Everything felt like a weird fever dream or something. Some weird like, I don't know. It didn't feel like, I'm like, oh no, this this can't be reality. This can't be happening. This isn't real. But nah, it's real. No, it's real. It's real. It is real. Um, yeah, it's real. And you're just good. Just know that it is real, and what you're experiencing and what you saw is was the true form, the true form. And as hard as it's gonna be, like, please don't second guess yourself. Don't question yourself on this. But this is the you need to know, right? You need to know what to look out for in the future, right? Because it's not going to be the last time that you run into a person that has these seated entities within them, and you need to be able to recognize it. And even if you don't, if you're not able to like physically recognize it because like heart chakra sonar is not fully on, like you'll still be able to feel it, right? Like the similarities and the energy is going to be like, hold on, I this seems this this grimy ass energy feels familiar. The card that's at the bottom of the deck is nah, fam. Just nah. Hard pass. Do not proceed. And hell nah. Yeah, it kind of feels like hell nah for the situation over here, but also hell nah to anybody that gives you pause, right? Just like hell nah to anybody that makes you be like, at any point in time, if you gotta if you gotta this anybody at any point in time, nah. People should transparently be one way or the other with you, right? Like immediately you should be able to feel, or you should be able to recognize this is a safe person, this is not a safe person. Like if at any point in time there's some weird ambiguity in between, like, and you have to like kind of tilt your head or do any kind of things to try to like assess, is this person like me or not like me, or do you have to like do these kinds of things to try to figure out somebody's like motives in your life, or if there are motives like this. It's no, it's just hell not. Like at this point in time where we're at in the world, things are as they are. You know, you don't have to like second guess and question yourself on things, on how you feel. And again, you don't have to know how you know, but you just know, right? It is clear cognizance. You don't have to know how you know, but you know. And at this point in time where we're at in the world on planet Earth, it is really imperative that people start to understand and practice, utilize, exercise their clear cognizance at the forefront, and not have their logical mind trying to be taking over and being like, well, we don't know them, or well, we don't have the proof, or well, you don't need any of that shit going forward. What you need is the first instinct. What did your first instinct say? And go off of that. Again, it doesn't mean fully throwing caution to the wind and like not doing any due diligence whatsoever on people that come into your life, or whatever the case may be, business opportunities, romantic prospects, whatever, anything. But it just means allowing the intuition and the first impression. What did you initially feel, think, notice about a person, place, or thing as soon as it's presented to you? Jot that down and take note, and let that hold the most weight with you at this point in time, because that's where we're at. That's where we're at in the world. The spiritual and the emotional is king here, right? Energy is the ruler here. The spiritual and the unseen is the primary here in this world, furthermore. So the entire playbook of the physical is out. The old system is out. This new system is entirely energetic, spiritually, emotional based, right? You need to be able to feel things, and you need to trust yourself on what your first impressions and intuition was or is on people, places, and things coming into your life, because that is going to hold the most weight. Yeah, that's what I have for you guys. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this gives a little bit of information, and hope you learned something about nefarious entities and how they get into people, in one of the ways that they get into people. Um, Also, I feel like I should say this. Sleeping with a nefarious entity can also seed nefarious entities into you. Understand what I'm saying? Uh, yeah. Somebody needs to hear that. Um, Demons are very attractive. Demons are very, very attractive. Like unnaturally attractive, very unnaturally attractive. Because somebody, I heard it. Like, how do they wanted me to explain? How do they know what to look out for? I'll tell you exactly what to look out for, because trial and error, trial and error over here. Yeah, I did it so you don't have to, or do. No regrets, really. But it definitely made my life more difficult than it needed to be. Demons know what you like, and they will present with everything that you are attracted to. They will exactly what you are attracted to. I've said this before in one of my chakra videos, but this, if you don't know yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, I guarantee that the opposing teams know it, right? And they will use that to your their advantage and your disadvantage. Um, but they are very attractive. Like I said, ungodly amount, unnatural amount, unearthly amount of attractive, and whether that's male or female, whatever you're attracted to, they are, and they are doubly good in bed. So that's how they That's how they reel you in. That's how they reel you in. They'll hit you with the love bombing tactics and reel you in and snatch your ass up out of your happy spot. They always want to come towards you when you're happy and doing good. Also, that's another thing that I've learned. When you're doing well, when you're out here like live, love, laughing, just in your own energy, enjoying life, they'll be like, "I got your ass now." Got your ass now. Like, you over here minding your business. Now, yeah, while you're over there minding your business and just trying to just trying to live your life happily, here they come one to F up your peace. And more than likely, if it's your first encounter with one, you're probably gonna let them. You're probably gonna let them, because you have no defenses. You have no defenses for it. Your first time, you got no defenses because you don't know what to look for, right? It's only after they destroy your life. It's only afterwards, after if you make it out. Shit, a lot of people end up marrying their first demon encounter. Um, we got a lot of hybrid babies walking around here. Like, I'm not talking about like mixed, like black and white or mixed race. Like, I'm talking about like demon and human babies walking around here. Got a lot of, yeah, but should you make it out of their enchantment, right? Because it's very much like a a euphoric enchantment dream, and everything feels really good with them. Like the it's that it's that dark magic or something that they're using to lure you in, and then they put the demon D on you too, or the demon P on you too, and then it's it's a wrap. It's really difficult to get out of the clutches of a demon mate. But should you make it out, once you make it out of the situation, if you make it out of the situation, you'll forever look back and be like, what the fuck was that? What was that? And then because it leaves a mark. It literally like is ingrained in your mind of being like, I'm never going through that again. You'll be equipped to be able to like notice when they throw their little their little bobber in the water to try and get you. You can be like, no, no, I know what that is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Um, yeah. So just be aware of that. Did You can also be seated by demons. Just know that. Okay. I hope I taught you guys something. Thank you all for all your likes, shares, subscribes, and donations. And the New Earth Guidebook to Healing and Ascension is available on Amazon, as well as my Oracle deck, and not on Amazon, but it's on my link tree. That's also in the description box below. And my Love and Light but Ready to Fight merch is also available on my link tree store. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace, squad.